Chris Brown here, fitnesscampacademy.com, helping frustrated men and women understand diet and exercise in order to get your body back in less than 28 days. Okay, so the other day I posted a question on my Facebook saying, what is the most frustrating part of your body right now? Share your struggles and I shall help you out. Like the status first, and then comment. Ask me anything you like. So we got a lot of comments the other day, and I'm going to basically take you through one by one. So Joanne, you know one of my trainers, thighs is linked to estrogen storage. Okay, so high estrogen levels, which forces the body to store fat in the butt and thighs area. Okay, ways to combat this is to first of all go through a liver detox. So that's removing all toxins from your diet, such as wheat, dairy, sugar, alcohol, processed foods, and caffeine. Then you want to really load up onto nutrients such as your broccoli, watercress, spinach, curly kale. In particular, these four things, and leafy green vegetables and dark green vegetables in general, contain indole-3 carbonyl plus other indoles, which actually help to detoxify estrogen in the body and remove the fat from the thighs. Also, a great supplement that you can get is DIM, diindole methane, or you can go to philrichardsperformance.co.uk and get Goodness Greens from his site, which is awesome for fat loss around the thighs. Claire Roberts, everything. I cannot help you if you don't be specific in areas that you want help, but basically if everything is, then I'd say to you, what are you doing to change it? What changes are you actually making consciously? Are you just accepting it? Are you stuck in a rut? What is it that, I mean, any form of exercise and cutting out crap is going to affect your body shape. Regardless of if it's the best advice, just some form of exercise every day and removing sugar out of your diet will make a massive impact. But you need to basically focus yourself on getting uncomfortable. Get out that comfort zone that you're in, and the most change happens in comfort. Remember, in uncomfortable circumstances. If nothing changes, then nothing changes at all. Okay, Nicole Adcock. All of my legs, stomach, hips, you name it. Okay, so belly fat is generally linked with cortisol, which is a stress hormone. So staying up late at night is definitely going to affect belly fat. Also, the amount of stress that you're experiencing is going to affect belly fat. If you are having a lot of caffeine, that is going to affect belly fat. Okay, if your blood sugars are up and down, so if you're binging on a lot of sugar, that's going to affect your cortisol levels, which is going to lead to you storing body fat also. Hips is linked to insulin, which is linked to blood sugar again. So if you're having a high carbohydrate diet, in particular sugars, simple sugars, you're basically going to be spiking insulin a lot throughout the day. You're going to start developing some form of insulin resistance, which basically is going to link to fat storage in the love handler area. Okay, legs, depending on whereabouts in the legs. If it's the upper legs, the inner thigh, then that's linked to estrogen, like I said with Joanne. So you want to be loading up on nutrients such as watercress, broccoli, spinach, curly kale, and the likes of that. Kaylee, so your arms, Kaylee. Okay, so is it the back of the arms, like what we know as the bingo wings? If it is, this is due to low testosterone, believe it or not. So this can occur from high cortisol levels and high estrogen levels. So if you're getting late nights, that's definitely going to affect the fat storage in your thighs. 2 seconds, sorry. It's definitely going to affect the fat storage in your upper arm. Sorry, I was kids downstairs. And basically, if you've got high amounts of cortisol going through your body, high estrogen levels, then you are going to store body fat in the triceps. So you want to be getting to bed regular at 10 o'clock in the evening by latest. You want to be also reducing the amount of times that you spike your insulin and blood sugar, because that will affect cortisol, which will affect testosterone. And you want to start having supplements such as magnesium and zinc, okay, which will support that. Okay. Rachel Bennett, the huge tire around my waist. Okay, you're fortunate you're working with me, so you will experience a reduction in that over the coming 4 weeks when we get you started. Basically, around the waist, that is linked to cortisol. So if you've got high stress, if you've got poor sleep patterns, if you're spiking your blood sugars with high carbohydrates all day, then you're going to experience a lot of fat storage around the belly area. Sleep is a major thing, so if you're working late or you're having night shifts and stuff like that, it is going to affect your fat storage. It knocks out basically your natural circadian rhythm of cortisol. Okay, so you want to be getting to bed regularly at the same time and getting out of bed regularly at the same time. The same as a baby. If you get a baby in a routine, the sleep is so much better. Okay, so get yourself into that routine. Don't just disregard things that we've done since we were a baby. Okay. Paul Cowan, these growths I have love handles. I don't love them at all. Okay, he's actually put another thing. So, eat clean as a whistle, no fruit or carbs except veg. Okay, Paul, so not eating carbs can actually have a counterproductive effect on your diet, basically. So if you're depleting, say for example, here's an example. If you're running and you're burning fat from running, okay? Once you eat carbs, you're going to store those carbs within your fat stores because you're replenishing the fat stores. That's where the energy's come from, so that's where the energy's going to go back. So that's why running is ill-effective with your fat loss if that's the only thing that you're doing, okay? If you're not having carbs, then your glycogen uptake is going to be pretty poor. And like I said, if you're burning fat, you're cutting out your carbs, you're not going to really intake that glycogen back into the muscle. You're going to go back into the fat when you do have carbs. So having carbs in the evening as well is very beneficial. So things such as sweet potato, occasional rice post-training. Fruits, you want to aim for berries and non-fructose based fruits. If you just Google that, you'll find a big list of them. Okay, so you want to go for berries such as blueberries, blackberries, the high antioxidant fruits. Grapefruits are great. They contain quercetin and narangenin, and apples also contain quercetin, which are flavonoids, which help to reduce the activity of estrogen and also an enzyme called HSD, which contributes to belly fat storage. So Paul, it's just about maybe increasing the intensity of your training as well. I don't know how intensely you do train, but maybe you're sitting within a comfort zone at the minute and you need to start to shake your training up a little bit. You can speak to Liam on and doing things like that. Okay, so Diane, tummy, only put weight on here. So this is massively linked to cortisol. So if your stress levels are high, your sleep's really poor, if you're getting to bed late at night, then you are going to store belly fat. I'll actually post an article here on belly fat and stress and estrogen onto this link so you can read through them. Gemma Taylor. My stomach. I drink juice and water. Downfall is crisps, even though I just cut them out of my diet. Need help on what's best exercise and best foods to get rid of stomach. Okay, so again, I'll post up that belly fat article. It's very much linked to cortisol or the activity of HSD, the enzyme. You can have things like licorice tea, which helps to reduce the activity of HSD, which is the enzyme that turns cortisone, which is inactive cortisol, back into cortisol. Okay, and it will force you to store belly fat. Juice isn't great, so you just want to increase your intake of water. Crisps, get rid of them. Exercise is about 20% of your results. 80% comes from your food, so you can't outtrain a bad diet. Nikki Teal, I'm seeing that hips, that could be, is that love handle area? If it is, then that is definitely linked to insulin, sorry. So many different hormones going around my head. So that is linked with insulin, like I said before. So reducing your simple sugars, your simple carbohydrates, such as sugars and things like potatoes and other things like high fructose fruits. They're not going to spike insulin, but they're going to store as sugar. Okay, so things like fruit smoothies people think they're healthy, but they're horrendously loaded with fructose, which doesn't spike insulin necessarily, but it does store body fat. Okay, so that is reducing the amount of times that you spike insulin, so balancing out your blood sugars basically. Midsection Sabrina. Okay, so I'm assuming that's the belly fat. So again, that's a link to cortisol. Late nights, not getting enough sleep will definitely affect this. Maggie Gaskell, I'm going to come back to yours, Matt, man, because I've got a special little thing that I can show you what to do. Okay, so menopausal PMS mood swings, which appear to have arrived with a vengeance. They went away with eating clean, but now they are back, but I'm still eating clean. Okay, I know, Maggie, I know you are eating clean, but I don't know in particular what you are eating. But I know if you increase your magnesium intake, your zinc intake, that will contribute to helping those symptoms massively. Magnesium deficiency is a big thing linked to heavy periods or menopausal PMS mood swings, okay? So magnesium is actually a relaxant. So increase your magnesium intake. So 10 sprays of magnesium oil in the morning and in the evening. It actually aids with sleep too. Tummy and back, which I could get rid of the excess once and for all. Okay, Pete, basically, you just stop making excuses and do it. So I wish I could is just stating a preference. You need to make a committed decision to getting in shape once and for all. Stop with the excuses, stop stating preferences, and start making decisions. That goes for everybody. By saying, I want to lose weight, or wish I could do this, that's just like saying, I wish I could go on holiday, or I'm going to go on holiday. It's just stating a simple preference. You're not actually doing anything about it. So turn it around and say, I'm going to get rid of this once and for all. Make a committed decision. Commit yourself to sticking to a nutrition plan and an exercise plan and get in shape. Okay? Basically, guys, you're not silly. You need to increase the amount of vegetables that you have, increase the meat intake that you have, good quality meat, and increase water. Doing them 3 things alone and removing sugar and grains from your diet. So switch grains for greens. That's a great rule to follow. So anytime you were going to have a grain, such as wheat, rices, things like that, shoot for a green instead. So some kind of vegetable. Okay, have lean protein, have red meat if you like, eggs, fish, the lot, lots of veg, and you'll notice huge differences straight away. Okay, tummy and back. Tummy is obviously belly fat is cortisol, which I've said. So reduce the amount of stress that you have, maybe reduce the perception of stress, and also back fat is linked to insulin, so balancing out those blood sugars. Stop eating sugary foods all the time. And that is it. Coming back to Mattman Motivator. Okay, Matt, so this is a problem I used to suffer with personally. And I've got a mic in here, so I'm just going to have to prop this up. Okay. Basically, Matt, I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can see me here on the webcam. Right, the sternum area here, okay? You should be able to measure your rib angle, okay? So it should be 45 degrees. Mine's slightly less than that, so I'll do a little treatment myself. So you're going to start around the pec area. You're going to drag a load of tissue across to the underside of the rib, okay? Clamp the rib. Take a huge deep breath. Hold it. Breathe out. Then go a little bit further over. Breathe in again. Breathe out. Then move across a little bit. Work your way around the rib. Big breathe in. Breathe out. And again, tuck under that tissue here. Breathe in. Breathe out. And again, working all the way around. And out, all the way to the side, and out. So you want to start again, we'll do this side. I'm going to go right across, really slow. Push all the tissue across, so we're going for the myofascial tissue. Grab underneath the rib there. So I'm clamping in quite hard. It's quite painful the very first time you do this. Deep breath in. And again. Deep breath in. And again doing that, working your way across nice and slowly. Clamping under the rib, using the rib to clamp the tissue down. That's it, and again, all the way around. There we go. And so if I check my rib angle now, you can see massively I've increased that. So it was about there before to there. Mine used to be, no word of a lie, there. My rib angle used to be there. So you can imagine, if your ribs, I feel way better there already. If you look from the side, range of motion's great, so feel so much better with that already. Feel so much looser in your chest. And basically, if you think about it, if you are in this position here, this is going to be really compressed. So right in your sternum is going to be really compressed. When you try to lift your arms above your head like you're saying, okay, the posture that you're in actually prevents the range of motion. So just simply by doing that release, opening up the thoracic spine, you're actually able to get a much further increase in range of motion. So again, if I go into that slump position, try and go into range of motion, I physically can't do it. But if I get back into that good posture here, my ribs are in good position, thoracic spine, bang, straight up the top. So try that out, Mountain Motivator. Everyone else, guys, stick to those tips. Take the advice on board, okay? And that is Chris Brown, fitnesscampacademy.com. Anything else you need, shoot me a message on here. Bye-bye.